Welcome to another episode of Outsmart the Hustle. I am Hannah McGinty, your host, and today we're talking about why you could be booked but still broke. A lot of creatives, I would say, don't necessarily come from a business background where people taught them finances, right? And I honestly think in America, this is just something we don't talk about enough is money. And so this podcast episode is going to talk about how we can identify our margins and what's actually profitable and what isn't.
I'm feeling like a brand new me. For the very first time, I'm right where I'm meant to be. Brand new.
Welcome to Outsmart the Hustle, where we turn hard work into smart work, helping you focus on the high impact moves that drive your business forward without getting stuck in the grind. I really love teaching sustainability for businesses for creatives. And this is kind of like square one, right? Let's look at like our margins. Are we offering things that actually help us make money, or are we offering them because we're nice? Like, let's actually look at what our packages are and see what's our gross margin. And gross margin is like after your expenses, after you pay your second shooter, after you account for your subscriptions and your softwares and everything that you need to make the business keep running, even your own salary, because yes, you should be paying yourself. What's the profit? So, profit, I would argue, it's like don't include your salary in that, right? That is a business expense. Payroll has always been a business expense. So, given that you're set up as an LLC, I want you guys to think through like, how can my business be profiting? I'm typically putting at least, 10 to 15% profit from each gig that I book in an account because I don't want to spend it. I actually want the business to have a profit margin at the end. So, when you guys are booking, know like when you let's say you get like 5,000 in for a wedding. Now, of that 5,000, you're spending anywhere from 400 to maybe $650 on a second shooter, depending on how many hours you have them for, given that you're paying anywhere from 50 to 65 an hour for them. And it varies from state to state. So I'm just giving you hypotheticals, right? That leaves you with, on average, let's just say 45 to $4,300 left. You want to pay yourself a percentage out of that. I like to pay myself anywhere from 30 to, yeah, let's just say like 20 to 30%. Now you're left with a few thousand left. Subscriptions aren't that much. I kind of factor about 5% of every booking to go towards subscriptions. And my subscriptions are like Adobe. I have caption apps for Reels. I have a few other subscriptions, Music Bed, you name it. And so I take like a percentage of all of that based on the amount of bookings that I had last year and divide it so that I know there's a percentage of each booking going towards my subscription costs. That includes like where things are hosted on and all that. So Dropbox, VidFlow, you name it. Like think of everything that you're paying for to make your business run. Now you're left with an amount. You can use part of that amount to market, which I would highly suggest to use about 20% of your gross margin to use for advertising. But, it just varies for everybody. If you got to pay debts, like pay those down. But I want you guys to think through those margins because, like, if what you're offering isn't ultimately paying the bills, paying you, and profiting at the end of the day, you shouldn't be offering these things. So don't offer it. Like, yes, being kind, being good is great, but it's not sustainable. So you can still be kind and you can still be smart with how you offer things. Another thing I'm seeing sometimes is like what keeps people broke is just saying yes to the wrong clients because you could even get paid like $10,000 to do a wedding for the wrong client. And it's like, was it really worth it? Because you could be broke like from an emotional richness sense, mental richness. It's not just physical, right? I love to look at it in all areas. Like, is this person serving me as well as I am serving them on all fronts, not just money? Because I don't think there's so much more to money, right? So in terms of good business practices, do you know the ideal clients that you're supposed to be working with? Because it'll make your marketing and the targeting so much easier that when you know now your margins and you're spending 20% of that towards your ideal clients, like now you can go out and find the right people. If you're saying yes to everybody, you're not honestly serving the right audience all the time. So it just helps you in the long run, I promise. And then when it comes to like revenue versus profit, like everyone loves to say, like the big influencers and everything in the industry, they'll be like, I made this much in revenue. And it's like, yeah, that looks great, but how much did you make in profit? Those are really the numbers that I want to know. Just real talk, right? So yeah, I hope this aligns with where you're at, what you're thinking, because when it comes to running a business, I feel like that's one of the key fundamental things nobody tells you is like, it's not about how much you make in revenue, right? But how much are you keeping in your pocket? And so that's just square one. And when you start to actually profit, there are ways to strategize how to best utilize that profit. But I'm not going to get into that on that. I'm also not a CPA, so I'm not going to give you like financial advice that I'm not qualified to give you. But basically, just want you guys to think through your offerings, where that money is being spent, and being really intentional about how all of that is divided, because that was something I wish I knew earlier in my business ownership life was how to divide up the spending and savings and how to profit, honestly, from my packages, because it helps you with confidence as well when you're making your packages, because you can justify like this is how much it cost me to put this thing on and like how much time I'm putting in, and like you're factoring in stuff. You're not just pulling a number out of your butt and calling it a package. So if you do it this way, then you're actually taking great steps towards business ownership and good solid operations. So congratulations. All right. Well, I hope that was helpful. And it was a quick podcast episode, but it was just something I thought about. It was like, yeah, whenever we're consulting clients, like on a big corporate scale, we're always looking at their margins and we make packages out of their margins. So why wouldn't we do that for ourselves in the creative industry? Just a thought. All right, guys, I will see you next Tuesday for the next episode of Outsmart the Hustle. Don't forget that the conference is April 6th through the 9th. It's called Refresh, and we are going to talk about content marketing. So if you've ever struggled with your content marketing, just figuring out what to say, how to find the right clients through social media, this conference is for you, and I want to see you there. Early bird ends March 1st, so act fast. And yeah, don't sleep on this, guys. There's only going to be 40 people there. So we'll see you there at the conference, and I'll see you next Tuesday on the next podcast episode.
I'm feeling like a brand new me. Brand new, brand new. Feeling like a brand new me.
Outsmart the Hustle is produced by Booked by Strategy, a film business course. Follow us at Booked by Strategy literally anywhere for more creative business tips and freebies, and check out the course and live workshop that happens every year at www.bookedbystrategy.com.